And good afternoon, GRN listeners across the South and Central Texas listening area. This is your local program. This is In His Vineyard. I'm Gordy Zambrano, your general manager for the Guadalupe Radio Network South and Central Texas listening area. Of course, you know you can hear this program every Monday at noon right here on your local GRN station, online at grnonline.com, or on the free Guadalupe Radio Network app. You can join us on Facebook. Actually, just go and click the like button and follow us. We always have pertinent information on there. And so we'd like to welcome you to our Facebook page if you can. And of course, we want to thank everybody who's listening in, tuning in Marble Falls, Fredericksburg, Kerrville, Uvalde, and beautiful San Antonio, Texas. We're grateful that you've decided to spend just this hour joining us and getting caught up on all things Catholic in South and Central Texas. And as you know, on this program, we try to bring you a variety of informative discussions highlighting different people, ministries, and events going on in the Archdiocese of San Antonio and parts of the Diocese of Austin. And today, I'm glad to bring you, our sponsors. We cherish our sponsors out there that sponsor the Guadalupe Radio Network and help us to do what we do on a daily and bring our programming to you. And today's program is going to include two of our sponsors. One in the first segment is Pam Factor from St. Jerome's in China Grove. She owns St. Jean's Personal Care Home. We're going to talk about, you might want to listen in on this because we were just talking beforehand, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. We were talking about, personal care, health, and, the elderly and caring for the elderly. And, of course, St. Jean's Personal Care Home is a new sponsor to the Guadalupe Radio Network. So I'm looking forward to my conversations with Pam Factor. And then in the second part, we're going to bring you an exciting couple, Domenica and Chef Dominique Besson. They are from Star Chef Store, and we're going to talk about, their sponsorship of the Guadalupe Radio Network and their journey, their faith journey, just like we're going to talk with Pam in her faith journey over at St. Jerome's in China Grove. I'm looking forward to our discussions, and I'm glad that our guests took time to come on the program. And it really means a lot to me. But before we begin those conversations, what we do is what we always do on Monday is we begin in prayer. And, we want to make sure that we ask the Lord to make his will known to us and to pray for our Archbishop Gustavo and our Bishops Garianic and Michael Boulette. And, of course, all of our priests, deacons, seminarians, and all our nuns out there. Want to make sure our religious, we're praying for them. If you're in a door, you go to adoration, put aside an hour for them so that they can feel your prayers. They definitely need our prayers. And, of course, want to pray for our country because at this time, we have a big election tomorrow. And so it is so important that you get out and vote. And so what I did was I've got this election prayer that I did last week, but I think it's more pertinent today because tomorrow is election day, and want to make sure that you get out and you exercise your right to vote, and you pray to God to give you the wisdom to make the right decisions in the candidate that you choose. And of course, we're going to start with that prayer right now. So let's start with in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus Christ, you told us to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to God what belongs to God. Enlighten the minds of our people in America. May we choose a president of the United States and other government officials according to your divine will. Give our citizens the courage to choose leaders of our nation who respect the sanctity of unborn human life, the sanctity of marriage, the sanctity of marital relations, the sanctity of the family, and the sanctity of the aging. Grant us the wisdom to give you what belongs to you, our God. If we do this as a nation, we are confident you will give us an abundance of your blessings through our elected leaders. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And just like that, we are on our way. We are up and running. But I want to go ahead and, recap last week. Of course, it was All Saints Day on Friday. And hopefully everybody got out to Mass. It's a holy day of obligation. It was a holy day of obligation. And just want to make sure that, we remember our saints. I mean, we pray to our saints a lot and ask them to intercede for us. So what a great day last Friday was. But on the other end, I did have, it was All Saints Day, and I'd like to ask everybody to pray for my mom, Vicky, because she fell last Friday evening and broke her hip and took her to the hospital. From the hospital, she went to SAMC. They're a trauma unit, and yesterday had replacement hip surgery. So want to pray for her. And, it's so appropriate that I have Pam Factor on here because we're going to talk a little bit about the aging and, those that, go through a process like that with her business at St. Jean's Personal Care Home. So if you can, pray for Miss Vicky. She is over at SAMC, and I thank the doctors over there. They did a fantastic job. We were there all weekend, and boy, what a fantastic place that is to be right here in San Antonio, world-renowned burn unit, trauma center, and they just do a fantastic job over there. So thank you for everything. And nextly is get out and vote. Tomorrow's the day. You want to get out and vote. If you didn't early vote, which I know there's big numbers out there early voting, get out there and exercise your right to vote. As the prayer said, we want to protect leaders that protect the sanctity of the unborn, the sanctity of marriage, the sanctity of marital relations, and the sanctity of family. It's so important that we do that as Americans. And so I just want to urge you to get out and vote. Now, things that are coming up. This Friday, the Deacons Gala is coming up Friday, November 8th. That's this Friday at Holy Trinity Banquet Hall. It's going to be at Holy Trinity Banquet Hall, 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. I want everybody to go to moccsa.org for more information. That's maccsa.org for more information. Last week I had Father Juan Molina, and Paul Cardenas has been talking to me about the Deacons Gala. He coordinates it. But Paul and Juan Molina, Father Juan, are incredible. They put an incredible event on. So I want to urge you to support our deacons and support the work that they do, because the proceeds from the gala go towards the continuing formation of permanent deacons and the initial formation of the diaconate candidates. That came straight from Father Juan Molina. Wants to urge everybody to get out there. Again, it's going to be from 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. It's at Holy Trinity Banquet Hall, located right off Hebner Road, 20523 Hebner Road. So go to Mexican American Catholic College, SA, MACCSA.org to get more information on that. And then coming up this weekend, actually, it's going to be it's my alma mater from my grade school, Holy Rosary Catholic Church over there off Camino Santa Maria. They're having their annual turkey bingos. They're going to be November 8th, 15th, and 22nd. So for the next 3 weeks, you want to go win a turkey and some good fixins and just incredible prizes. I've been to this. I think I've been to it the last 2 years, and it is so much fun. It's over at Meyer Hall. It's only $10 a person. And if you go to holyrosary.sa.org, you'll find more information. And I'll tell you what, they do a great job out there. I know the Knights, Tim, and I know Osvaldo, they do a fantastic job with the turkey bingo. Again, it's the next 3 weekends, November 8th, 15th, and 22nd. That's at Holy Rosary Catholic Church. And, Thanksgiving is just around the corner. I can't believe it, Pam. It's like it's come up so fast. Great time of the year. The holidays are here. And, of course, lastly, what I want to mention is we have our Guadalupe Radio Network Christmas Share-a-thon. It's coming up, and we're preparing right now for it. Our theme is Rejoice, and what an appropriate theme, because the holidays, we want to rejoice and give thanks, but Rejoice is our theme. It's going to be December 2nd through the 6th. And so if you made a pledge last year during the Share-a-thon, Christmas Share-a-thon, and you want to renew that pledge, all you have to do is call me. You can call me on my cell. You can email me. I'll renew that pledge for you. I will be calling those that, made a pledge last year. So be on the lookout for that. And, of course, you want to go into, you can always go into grnonline.com and get information regarding everything going on with the Guadalupe Radio Network. And so I want to, encourage everybody to help support our mission of evangelization. That's what we do here at Catholic Radio. That's why I'm able to be on the air. We do the Share-a-thon 4 times a year. It's going to be 5 days, and it's going to be 5 great days. I feel it because our Christmas Share-a-thon is always big. People are in such a giving mood during Christmas, and it's so beautiful to talk to, those who call that 800 number and tell us their pledge, or they give us their pledge, but they also give us their prayer intentions. And so we love reading those on the air. Kimberly and I will be on the air together, and I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. Again, the theme is Rejoice, so I want to make sure everybody's aware of that, December 2nd through the 6th. And, I've got one more announcement to make before I get to Pam. Pam's sitting over here going, wait, when are you coming to me? I've got a parish ambassador program, so if you want to represent the GRN, the Guadalupe Radio Network, in your parish, it's real easy. All you got to do is call me, 210-865-0043, or send me an email, and my email address is Gordon, Gordon, at grnonline.com. Okay? So if you want to be a parish ambassador, let me know, and we will get you going. Like Pam's raising her hand over here for St. Jerome. She's going to be our parish ambassador for St. Jerome. So with that said, let's turn to my first guest, Pam Factor. She is from St. Jean's Personal Care Home. She's one of our newest sponsors here at the Guadalupe Radio Network. Pam, how are you doing this morning? This evening? This noon?
Afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me, Gordy. Can you hear me? Okay. I just want to say I love your spirit. You're so hyped up, and I just love it. I
try to be. My wife says sometimes I got to take the batteries out because I'm too hyper.
Energizer bunny.
But you know what? You're on my program because you just recently started. You're a sponsor of the Guadalupe Radio Network, which is fantastic, and we thank you so much for that. And we do I'm sure people have heard the PSA that we put together for you, a public service announcement, and it's in Kimberly's voice, and we're asking, we're just giving information about St. Jean's Personal Care Home, but we can't really say a lot of things. We could only say the name, how to contact you. Now on the program, we can talk about what you do, your faith journey, how you got to this point, and how people can contact you in regards to, the services you offer. So let's start with telling us a little bit about, St. Jean's Personal Care Home.
Okay, so St. Jean's Personal Care Home. So we're located on the southeast side of San Antonio. We are just at a personal care home. So I am going to be admitting 3 to 4 clients in our home.
Right.
What we do is we provide 24/7 care. So it's an alternative to having your loved one go to a nursing home that have a lot more patients there. So it's small and personal. So what we do is we assist our clients in their home, because once they're there, that's where they live, with activities of daily living. So things like bathing, dressing, grooming, nutritious meals, appropriate exercises. Yeah. So
a prayer room?
Oh, yes. And I've designated a certain room in the house just for prayer and family. So we believe that, it's not only important to take care of the person and their health, so their spirit and their soul is very important.
And what got you to this point? Like, what's your background? How did you decide, I'm going to open my own personal care home and care for those who need the care?
So I've been in healthcare my whole career. So at least 25 years. So I am a former nurse. So I worked in skilled nursing facilities all over San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
I am currently a senior care advisor for a local company.
Right.
And it's been my passion. Wow. So I've had this idea in the back of my mind for at least 10 years. It was just not the right time. Then I started seeing personal care homes open all over the north side in Bulverde. And I said, you know what, southeast side doesn't have any options. That's kind of what pushed me. I told my husband, I said, okay, we're going to buy a home and we're going to open a care home. And he lovingly said, okay, dear.
And you know what? It has a different feel than a unit, like a building, a nursing home. That has such a different feel than, I think going to a home, it's a home where you can feel like you're at home.
It's very different. It's not institutionalized.
Right. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes. Yeah. And then, so we have a caregiver that lives there 24/7. I have a nurse that's on call in case we have any emergencies coming up. Right. And then we work with our local home health and hospice agency. So my resident needs those extra amenities. they're available at all time.
And so, they're going to get all the amenities, right? I mean, because you provide meals there. They could be there as long as they want.
Absolutely.
And now tell me about the insurance aspect, or is it out of pocket? Is it insurance?
Yeah, so
how does that work?
Yeah, unfortunately, any type of assisted living, memory care, insurance is not an option. So
Right.
it is an out-of-pocket expense for the family.
But somebody might be out there saying, gosh, we can't care for mom or dad. And, it's really trying on us because all the kids work and nobody has time.
That's right.
And
That's right.
so,
Especially with your clients that have dementia and Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah.
So families working, you can't leave them at home by themselves. So that
Right.
would be the perfect client to
Now-
come to our home.
how did you come up with the name St. Jean's? And that's spelled JEANNE''S.
Correct. It's pronounced. So St. Jean's is named after the patron saint, Saint Jean Jugan, who was a French nun. So she is the patron saint of the elderly and destitute. So that's
That
how I
makes
got-
sense.
And my middle name is Jean. I'm going to put that out there. So I thought, okay,
Pamela
this
Jean
is,
Factor.
There you go.
Pam Jean Factor. I love it. So
So it was very fitting.
wow. Okay. So that is awesome to hear. So, your background in personal care health, that has brought you to this point, but your faith journey over at St. Jerome, tell us about that. Tell us about your family. How, how involved are you over at St. Jerome?
Very. So I was born in Floresville, Texas, raised in Poth. So I don't know if anybody, I'm sure there's some people that know
everybody
where
knows
that's at.
Floresville,
Okay,
Poth,
so
yeah.
I'm from the peanut town of Floresville. My husband and I have been parishioners at St. Jerome's for about 10 years, very active in different ministries. So Acts, the Guadalupanas, Extraordinary Ministers of Holy Communion. So we're doing that now. So yeah, been there quite a while. We love our community.
And St. Jerome's over there in China Grove. Love St.
Yeah.
Jerome's. I've been out there. We have friends out there of the Guadalupe Radio Network. Now we add
That's
you.
where I first met you.
That's where you met me.
Uh-huh.
I did a pulpit talk over there. I had a table.
You had a table, a vendor table.
See, it helps to be out
does.
in the parishes because that's where everybody's at.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's just, we had a conversation out there. You told me about your business. It's a Catholic-owned business, which we love at Guadalupe Radio Network. We promote everything Catholic at Guadalupe Radio. So when I was talking, I'm like, oh, this is a perfect fit.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit. And what you do, in helping the elderly and caring for those who can't care for themselves, that's what it's all
Exactly.
about. Now, how is, or what does daily care look like? And, what kind of options do patients have for activities?
So basically, we design a care plan just for them. So, if there's somebody who are late risers, they don't like getting up at 7 in the morning and they want to sleep till 11 o'clock, that is their home and we respect that.
Right.
So, they get their 3 daily meals, they get snacks, we have our activities.
Yeah.
Like I said, resident appropriate exercises. So we keep them interacted, especially with our Alzheimer's and dementia, because that's very important.
Wow, that is incredible. It's so exciting to, talk about this, especially, with what just occurred with my mom, who is, she had a hip replacement yesterday. And so I don't know when she'll be up and walking, but a care home like St. Jean's, that's where you go. That's where you go to get the help that you need. Now, the prayer room, I saw online, and I want to let everybody know, you might be asking, well, where do we go to get information about, St. Jean's personal care home? And it's real easy. It's Saint and then Jean, JEANNES, PCH, personal care home.
.com.
stjeanspch.com. You could go there. There's also, you could schedule a visit. You can do a tour.
It'll give you a virtual tour on the website.
Yes, and that's
but
where I
please
went.
come out. We want you to see the house. Yeah,
Now,
live.
if somebody wants to schedule a visit, they want to check out the home. They want to make sure it's, is going to fit their loved one's needs. Who do they call this number at 210-778?
So that is my personal cell, so they can call me and we'll schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
778-1874.
that's it.
778-1874, and you can talk to Pam. Now, is your family involved, or tell us about the workers at the home?
So my live-in caregiver is are my daughter. Her name is Maybelline Factor, so she lives there. And then I have a weekend caregiver, and then myself. So my husband and I don't live in the home. We live like 5 minutes away, so we're able to pop in at any time.
Now you mentioned that you got this idea. You've been in the healthcare industry for 25 years, which lots of credibility there.
Yeah,
Now
it's
you
my
said,
passion.
is this becoming like a trend where it's at a home instead of a facility or an institution?
So there's several options. I mean, you have your assisted living communities, you have your memory care, and then you have your skilled nursing facilities, depending on what's going on with the resident at the time. Of course, if they need rehab, they'll be going into a SNF. But then once they get discharged from skilled nursing facility, if you don't want to live in a nursing home, that's an option.
Yeah. Or it could be somebody out there who's, elderly living alone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that to me is very hard. I know my mom lives alone, but we're there all the time. Yeah. But there may be somebody out there who doesn't have kids and they're tired of, I guess, all the maintenance with their home.
It becomes to the point where it's not safe anymore.
Right.
Right. To be at home alone.
Right.
So, yeah, St. Jean's would definitely be appropriate.
And I love the name, St. Jean's PCH, stjeanspch.com. That's where you got to go to, you can take a virtual tour. You can also call 210-778-1874. You can learn more about that. And like I said, this is, tell us about the meals that y'all serve over there. Do you have like somebody on staff that is a chef or
so it's
a cook?
all about the residents and what their preferences are.
They have dietary needs, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
I will do an assessment before they come into the home, and we ask all those pertinent questions. What are your favorite meals? What can you not eat? Do you have any dietary restrictions? But basically, we're going to give them whatever they want to eat.
Right.
As long as the doctor says it's okay.
And doctors can come out to the home in case they have to, look at their medication management.
So we work with physicians groups that are always welcome to come in. Yeah, if they have a doctor that's going to visit, sure.
Yeah, and so that's a big thing. And then, as far as mobility and transfers, y'all offer that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, we have patients that we will accept that are bedbound. So as long as that patient, we can transfer safely, whether it's using a Hoyer lift or, two-person transfer, we're trained in doing that.
And I did learn this term, toileting and incontinence care. That's what that's about. And so, if that's so important as you're growing old. It's hard. Sometimes you can't get up.
Absolutely.
And so you provide that care. It sounds like you provide just all around, all types of care.
Pretty much everything, as long as it's a safe environment for the client and our caregivers, yeah.
And how many rooms total in the home?
So I have 4 bedrooms. I have a capacity of putting maybe 6 residents, but right now I want to keep it small and intimate. So we're looking at 3 or 4 max for the house.
That way it's more manageable.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you, I love what you're doing. I love the fact that, we met at St. Jerome's Catholic Church out in China Grove. And, what about the support from your parish, St. Jerome's? How's that looking?
So actually I have an ad in our bulletin. I've had it there since day one, and I've had several calls.
God, that's good.
Yeah. And the word of mouth. So I get people calling me, I just, know so-and-so from St. Jerome's.
Well, and like we were discussing, about my mom, you were like, if you just have general questions, give me a call.
I've been doing this, like I said, so long. So, I know the industry like the back of my hand.
Because we're going to have to make a decision of whether she goes to rehab or whether she does in-home. All those are coming up. And so I know I'm going to need guidance. And so
I'm here for you, Gordy.
Pam,
call me.
You're awesome. I know my sisters and I are going to appreciate, the advice that you give us. But, we got like a couple of minutes left. And I want to make sure, somebody out there might be driving saying, Gordy, say that, number again. The number is 210-778-1874. Or you can go into Pam's website. It's St. Jean's. And that's JEANNES.PCH.com. There you can get all the information. You could actually see photos of the home. You could see photos of the interior. I took the virtual tour. It was really cool. And it's out there by, I see Pecan Valley on the south side of town, right?
Yes, yeah. It's about 5 minutes from Brook City Base.
Okay, so that's and you know what? There may be people driving around right now that are looking for this kind of care for their loved one.
Sure.
And so, even if you just have questions, call Pam. She's available to speak with you and tell you about the home, tell you about, what the services that they provide. It's located at 4615 Meadowland Place. Is that right?
78222.
78222. And like I said, you can go into her website. It's a very nicely, professionally done website. You can see photos. You can there's contact information. You could schedule a tour. And again, that's Saint St. Not. I guess I should have said that. St. Jeans, JEANNES, PCH.com. StJeansPCH.com. I'm excited that you're part of the Guadalupe Radio Network and you're a sponsor.
I love it.
And we love supporting Catholic businesses. So we are going to pray that you get inundated with calls and people, are looking for a service like this because they're out there. I mean, we get calls after my shows and I'll repeat the website and the phone number, but then people will call and say, what was that company? Mm-hmm. Who was that? And so we're so happy that you're with us and hopefully it's long-term and hopefully we can pack that house over there off of Meadowland. Place. So
thank you so much, Gordy.
Yeah.
Appreciate
and any last words you want to tell our listeners?
Just give us a call. I think once you walk through those doors, you're going to fall in love with the house. Yep.
Oh, I know they're going to fall in love with it because, if you just take the virtual tour, you'll see the house. It's a beautiful home. And I love the prayer room. You have an image of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
I have two.
Two images. And
you can't see it from that picture, but yes, we do. We do.
And I'm sure, you've got,
we have the serene music. There's a waterfall. It's very peaceful. I love walking in there, closing the doors. Yes.
At an institution, if, or a facility, if you make requests, you might not get it.
That's right.
This is personal. That's why I like the title, Personal Care Home. You're going to get a personal, I guess you're going to be treated, personally.
Absolutely. With dignity and respect, like
with
we all
dignity
deserve.
And respect. I love it, Pam. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And, we're going to have you back again. And thank you for being a sponsor of the Guadalupe Radio Network. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. Y'all have a great day.
All right, everybody.
Bye-bye.
That was Pam Factor. You want to go to Saint St. Jeans, JEANNES, PCH.com for more information or call 210-778-1874. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Thank you, Pam.
Hey y'all, it's Sarah Soto, your Monday, Thursday host of The Quest, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. I hope you'll join me as we explore the theology of the body, evangelization, Catholic family life, and conversations with some incredible guests. That's The Quest, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, each weekday right here on the Guadalupe Radio Network and the free Guadalupe Radio app.
Our family has spanned the centuries and the globe. With God's grace, we started hospitals to care for the sick. We established orphanages and help the poor. We are the largest charitable organization on the planet, bringing comfort to those in need. We educate more children than any other institution. We developed the scientific method and founded the college system. We defend the dignity of human life and uphold marriage. Guided by the Holy Spirit, we compiled the Bible. We are transformed by sacred scripture and sacred tradition, which have guided us for 2,000 years. We are the Catholic Church. With over 1 billion in our family, sharing in the sacraments and fullness of the Christian faith. Jesus started our church when he said to Peter, the first pope, "You are rock, and upon this rock I will build my church." So if you've been away from the Catholic Church, we invite you to take another look. Visit CatholicsComeHome.org today. We are Catholic. Welcome home.
Hi, Debbie and Adam here from the Spirit World. Hey Adam, we had so many social media messages and questions last week. Why don't we do a mailbag show this week?
That sounds great, Deb. I saw a number of compelling questions and comments that came in.
We wish we could address everything during the show, but you still have time to send in your questions to tsw@grnonline.com.
So join us this Saturday on The Spirit World.
And welcome back, everybody. We are back. You're listening to the Guadalupe Radio Network's In His Vineyard. I'm Gordy Zambrano, your general manager for the South and Central Texas listening area. Go into Facebook and join our page. It's real easy to find us. We're at GRN South and Central TX. Hit that like button, follow us, and that way you can keep up with everything that's going on. Just had a great conversation with Pam Factor. She is the owner. And in case you want that information again because you were driving and now you're somewhere where you can write it, her website, Saint St. Jeans, JEANNES, PCH.com, stjeanspch.com. Or if you want to talk to Pam, you can give her a call, 210-778-1874. 210-778-1874. I like to say that slow because people are, they could be driving around or, they pulled over to write down. But call Pam. She could talk to you about, St. Jean's personal care home. I know I was talking to her before the show today about my mom, and man, she is so knowledgeable. 25 years in the healthcare industry. She knows what she's doing. She's got a beautiful home set up. It's not like a facility or an institution where you go. This is a beautiful home. You could take a tour on her website, and I urge you to do that. So thank you, Pam Factor, for being on the show today. We appreciate you taking the time out to come to the Guadalupe Radio Network here on Paisanos Parkway. Just like my good friends over at Star Chef Store. Oh, this is going to be a very interesting conversation because I've got Chef Dominique Besson and I've got Domenica Besson, his wife. They're both in studio. Once they hit that blue on button, they're going to be able to talk to us. But Chef Dominique, welcome to the program.
Oh, hello.
Domenica, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good.
How is Star Chef Store doing? We're going to talk all about, why you decided to, start Star Chef Store. Say that 4 times.
Fast.
But tell us a little bit about yourselves. Chef Dominique, you're a professional chef. We want to hear about that. And we're going to talk about the store, the knife sharpening services you offer. But tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves.
Oh, I'll talk about for myself. I don't like to talk about myself, but since I was about 7 years old, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in a kitchen. So eventually, the dream came true. Went to culinary school in France, studied, went to work in Paris in several kitchens, and one day I had an offer to come here in the U.S. So since I was a dream, another dream came true.
Yeah,
I just went here and had a job, worked, and eventually, in this beautiful industry of ours of the kitchens, and it's very physically demanding, and it's very demanding on a family. So eventually, you try to think about, okay, what can I do next? I love what I do.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. It's part of my DNA. But what else can I do next to move away without moving away?
That keeps you in the industry.
Yeah, I'm an arm length from the industry, basically.
Yes.
I step in kitchens every day. So that was basically, in a nutshell, what I've done. But you cannot take the kitchen out of somebody. It's always there.
Especially a chef.
Yes.
So
yes.
the knife, the Star Chef Store, Dominic, well, you know what, before we get into that, Domenica, tell us a little bit about yourself and what's it like being married to Chef Dominique.
So that's interesting on both counts. Actually, he was telling the story of his progression and how he went to culinary school in France and then ended up here after being a chef in Paris. And after Paris, he actually came here and he was a chef in California. And I, at the time, was working for a company that set up new restaurants, set up the kitchen, set up the menu. And he was, after the kitchens, he was, for about 15 years, he was the national sales manager for a very old French company that makes expensive chef toys. And I was putting together kitchens, and a lot of putting together kitchens for chefs is finding them their chef toys.
Yeah.
And so I was a corporate buyer, and he would call on my office occasionally because he was selling, and that's how
That's how that started.
So she was buying, I was selling, and
yeah.
that didn't happen.
That is how that happened.
And, you know, your faith brought you together. And lo and behold, how many years married?
Working on 28, 27, 28.
Yeah. Married since 1998.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be
26?
26. Yeah, 26.
Well, you know, in the Star Chef store, it's a beautiful location. It's over here in off of Wurzbach Parkway and Northwest Military.
Right at the corner.
Everybody's familiar with that shopping center because you got that big old Elan HEB. You got Mirasol there.
Yep.
You're right next to Mirasol.
We're right next door to El Mirasol. Yep.
Now, you've been a sponsor going on, it's a year. It's been a year. And we're just now having you on the program, which I wish we would have had you last year but this is perfect timing because the holidays are right around the corner and people are eating at home. They're cutting their turkeys. They're using their knives. You at Star Chef Store not only sell national knives. I mean, these are the best knives in the world. But you also offer services for sharpening their home knives as well. Is that right?
We do, and
Yes.
it's the way it started. It started actually 17 years ago, 18 years ago.
Yes.
When Dominique decided to go into business for himself, and a very good friend of his talked him into launching a commercial sharpening business.
Right.
Which is what we've been doing all those years. We have a fleet of trucks that does the on-site sharpening for hundreds of restaurants, San Antonio, Austin, Hill Country. And that sort of fizzled temporarily in COVID because we couldn't get into restaurant kitchens.
I was going to ask
that
you
was
about
considered
that.
risky.
Yeah.
And so there was this little hobby subject that we had talked about for many, many years, which is we ought to open to the public.
And we had some demand. So
we had
people,
demand.
Where's your store? They saw the truck,
Yep.
and people would walk up to this truck and say, "Where's your store?"
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a store.
So
Not
yeah.
yet.
And so in lockdown, we opened a store.
Wow, in lockdown.
Yeah.
So you have two. You have a commercial and retail.
We have commercial. 2 in San Antonio, 1 in Austin.
Yeah, that keeps you going, chef.
Yes, it does.
You're in kitchens every day, sharpening knives, talking to chefs.
Yeah, sometimes giving them a hint or two, something like that, you know.
What's a better knife, a German knife or a Japanese knife?
Ooh. It's a. You have to think about it this way: a German knife will come with a thicker edge than a Japanese. You know, basically, a German come at. There's some German that go at 17s, but most likely they're going at 20, 22 degrees.
Right.
A Japanese will come at 15 or below. So you're pretty much comparing a German knife as being a 4x4. It's going to do a lot of things.
Right.
You know, cut some hard things and everything like that. And a Japanese will be more of a Ferrari. So that's
right.
So basically, if I have an advice for anybody, is okay, have a German knife that you can abuse for, some hard, like the gourds and things like that, especially right now, coming around that.
Right.
But have the Japanese for all the precise cut.
Right.
That's pretty much, there's not better or it's really two different philosophy behind a knife is designed. If you look at a German, they try more to have a knife that is very utilitarian, very complete. You can do pretty much almost everything with it, but it's not as precise. The Japanese are really, really precise. They are in every pursuit of the umami, which means that when you cut whatever you cut, you should not be even bruising the fiber. It should be a clean, beautiful cut, which will enhance the taste of the food.
Especially for your turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That's right.
And I was thinking about this, just like a golfer goes to get custom fitted clubs.
Correct.
a barbecue, or somebody. I mean, there's a lot of people who barbecue in San Antonio and in Texas, just in general. We're known for our barbecue, right? You custom fit knives to their cooking, right? Or
Dominica,
to their style.
Exactly. Dominica developed that when she opened the store, basically, because she found out that there was a lot of people say, well, I would like a knife. Okay. But we have Japanese, we have German, we have this, we have that. You are a barbecue. You barbecue. You compete in barbecue.
Right.
Different knives and different style of knives will fit different people. Tall, short,
Left, right.
There's a lot of things
Right.
to get into, and Dominica is very good at that, at bringing it down to the essence of what this particular person need as a knife. I mean, go ahead.
And usually what they think they want is not what they end up with.
Exactly.
Because you educate them.
Correct.
What we do, we get out some vegetables. We have some demo knives that we use to cut with people and see how they cut. And we try, this sounds silly, but the goal when we meet with people and we cut vegetables together and we look at their hand and their height and how high are your kitchen counters, and we're trying to not just get you a knife, we're trying to get you, as silly as it sounds, we're trying to get you a better experience in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that it's not a chore. It can be really
It's a joy.
sort of joyful in the kitchen. And a lot of times we need to spend 20, 30 minutes with someone, getting to know what they cut, seeing how they grip with their hands. And we always end up somewhere where they thought they wouldn't end up. But it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I need to up my knife game, because I'd be embarrassed to bring I wouldn't even bring my knives into you. I think I would just start from scratch and take your advice, because I'm going to chunk those knives that I have. Patty would agree.
No, we sharpen everything. I mean, we sharpen restaurant kitchens, and there's a lot out there.
Yes.
And you need some knives in your kitchen that you can hurt, and it won't be sad for you.
Yeah. So I'll keep those old knives then. Before the show goes by so fast, I want to get to this because the holidays are coming. This is a big time right now. People are buying gifts. A knife set would be awesome. You're gonna start doing something. Tell our listeners what you're gonna start doing for up to like 10 people.
So this year we decided, we thought about this last year, but we didn't have the time. But this year, what we're doing is we have a limited number of private party spots on our schedule, where we can invite up to 10 people to do their Christmas shopping together after we're closed or on the day that we're closed, so that they have a private experience. Yeah. They have our full attention. Everybody's cutting vegetables. Everybody's having fun. And we're actually providing the wine and the hors d'oeuvres with that for them, so that they can have sort of a combination, get all my shopping done, and have a party in the Christmas spirit, sort of togetherness and connecting with friends and family, or even for your office coworkers. And that's something we're going to be providing. It's a limited number of spots, obviously, because there's only so many days.
Yeah.
But if they would like to call us at the store, we can look at the schedule and see what can be done. And we do the gift wrapping for free, so they'll leave with everything gift wrapped and ready to go.
Oh, that's even better. So if they want to get information, Domenica, they just call this 844 number, 844-544-7827, 844-544-7827, or they can go into starchefstore.com.
Yes.
And go check things out. You have a great website. Here's what I was thinking. Y'all are Catholic. What parish do y'all call home?
St. Peter and Bernie.
St. Peter and Bernie. So there's a lot of cooking teams out there in parishes, like the Knights of Columbus. They do their sausage plate, they do their brisket plate, whatever. I would like to encourage those Knights of Columbus out there, those cooking teams, to call you and bring their team in to up in their knife game.
Sure.
That would be incredible. That'd be fantastic if they did that. Us Catholics, we love to eat and we love to cook. And so I think there's a big need out there. I know you've got the restaurants covered, barbecue places and all that good stuff. But, we are a Catholic radio station supporting Catholic businesses. And so I would like to encourage my brothers out there, or even Axe. Axe, they sometimes do a lot of cooking, but that's where you can up in that game by calling and coming in as a group. And you're going to provide all the wine?
We are providing the wine and the hors d'oeuvres, yes.
You can't beat that. And at the same time, they could also bring their knives in to get sharpened.
Yes.
Yep.
And get educated on, the whole process.
It's a fun process.
Yeah.
And, you're very easy to get to. You're right here in the Alon Shopping Center next to Mirasol Restaurant. And I guess HEB's in there too, right?
Yes.
They're
Correct.
huge.
Plenty of parkings.
Plenty of parking.
Yeah, easy parking, plenty of it.
Yeah.
And so, we want to encourage everybody to go into starchefstore.com. And man, you've got a ton of knives. Tell me about the store itself. When you walk in, what are you looking at? And I tried to make it out there this Saturday, but my mom fell, so she had to have hip surgery, and so I couldn't make it out there. But tell us about the store itself. When you walk in, what are you going to see?
So the store, that we have a very large selection of knives from all around the world. We personally order the knives. We go overseas every year to meet with different companies. We enjoy maybe more the smaller makers, not a lot of mass produced. And so in the store we have a lot of different lines from Japan, a lot of lines from Germany, things from Italy, things from France. So it's a very wide selection, and we create sets. So I'm not a big believer in sets because they're always selling you things you're not going to use.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have knife blocks, and we let people create the set of their 2 or 3 knives that they would use in their house.
Oh, okay.
They
so
don't
it's
need
not
11.
just a standard 11 knives.
No.
No.
What some people bake bread, some people don't. Some people are barbecue, as you said, and so they would need a boning knife. So it's very specific to that individual's life and what they enjoy doing in the kitchen, and they don't need extra knives.
Right. No, I think that's going to be fantastic. I mean, like you said, I'm looking at gift sets. I'm looking at pocket knives. I mean, you sell every type of knife you could think of.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And so, encouraging those, like I said, there's a lot of teams out there, cooking teams, that can probably use a little bit of education on, how to use a knife. And chef, in your history of being a chef out there, we talked about the best knives, but, if you're just looking for a home knife, what is the best knife, for cooking at home?
At home, basically, for ladies, because, again, it's 2 different, quote-unquote, public kind of deal. But if for ladies will be very comfortable with the santoku, which in Japanese means 3 virtues. So it's a utility knives. It works as a chef knife. So santoku is really the one that works the best for the ladies. For the gentlemen, mostly 8-inch chef knife or 9-inch chef knife. Personally, I'm not too tall, but I like a 9-inch because it gives me a little bit more leverage when I have to do some bigger things. I cut bigger things, gourds, melons, and things like that. Right. An 8-inch sometimes could be too short. But those 2 knives, a paring knife, a utility knife, like a 6-inch utility knife, and a bread knife, and basically with those knives at home, that's all you need, basically. After that, it's you have to have the slicer, because the slicer is something, because we're on the holiday seasons right now, so we slice a lot. But that would pretty much cover what you need at home. You don't need a 150 50 pieces set special from Walmart that costs you. You don't use all of them. You're going to be using a very small amount of the knife, especially if we guide you through the process of already fitting you for that particular knife.
Right.
You're going to go to this knife every time.
Yeah.
You're going to use that one all the time.
And that's where you custom fit them based on what they cook, what they're using the knife for.
Yes.
Et cetera,
how
et cetera.
they use the knife.
Yeah.
How they do use the knife. Because if you have some people, their cutting style is so a bit more forceful when they go on the cutting board.
Right.
And we know if we guide them through to get a real Japanese thin edge knife, they're going to kill the edge in no time. So we know that for their style, it's better to go German because a German will resist and will last longer on that particular style of cutting. Now, somebody that is a little bit more lighter, that has a bit more, then we can then I walk them through several kind of Japanese knife, lighter, heavier, but something that will work for them.
Well, I'll tell you, at the Guadalupe Radio Network, we're so happy that y'all came and wanted to be a sponsor, because you help us in continuing our mission of evangelization, of course.
Yep.
And we support Catholic-owned businesses. And when we had our first conversation, that was you were like, well, I like the advertisement, but I'm doing this to help Guadalupe Radio Network, which I love when you said that.
Absolutely. I'm an addict. So I listen in the morning all the way to work. I listen.
Yeah.
I have my shows that I can't miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was talking to a couple of folks, they're like, well, you're not going to talk about knives the whole time. I said, no, they got a faith journey. They're Catholic. They're a Catholic-owned business. Domenica and Chef Dominique listen all the time. They're avid listeners of the Guadalupe Radio Network, which, we love. We love to hear that. And, being a parishioners at St. Peter's in Bernie, I mean, that's a beautiful parish out there.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been going to St. Peter's?
Very, very active.
We were, before we opened the store, we were actually going out Highway 46 to St. Joseph in Honey Creek.
Honey Creek, yeah.
But now that the store is open, it's just kind of far for us.
Yeah.
So we're back to St. Peter. So we've been kind of back and forth. So I guess the total is, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 10,
On and
12
off,
years. Yep.
That's a good time. And you know what? I want to ask our listeners out there, majority are Catholic, listening to Catholic radio, to contact you. I think this is the time to do these parties you're talking about, right? It's up to 10 people?
Up to 10, yes.
Up to 10, and all they got to do is call you, 844-544-7827. They could book their party, and it's going to be private. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
when you're going to book those hours, but I think it's going to be nice that you're offering free gift wrapping. So if they decide to buy a set of knives, or they pick out knives that fit them culinary wise, you can gift wrap that. Or if they want to buy knives for a friend, a cooking friend,
For their Christmas shopping list, yes. We can get it all wrapped. And
yeah. And I'm thinking, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, everybody needs a good sharp knife. I know my brother-in-laws, they love knives, and they're constantly, quit using the block, right?
Yes.
Does that even work? Or
No.
No. Okay. Tell us about the block, because my brother-in-laws, they love sharpening their knives on the block, but I think it's really hurting the knife.
it is. It is. I mean, every knife edge is a different angle. And so you get used to doing this angle, and it doesn't really apply to all the knives. And a knife edge doesn't last forever. It wears.
Yeah, how long does it last?
It wears like a tire. That depends on how they're using it, what type of steel it is. Some types of steel, the edge lasts longer than others. Eventually, mostly we tell people that are home users, we probably need to see them once a year.
Yeah.
Cut new edges. Those honing steels, what they're doing is they're buffing the side of how much of an edge is left. It could be a lot or it could be a little.
Right.
But they're not really sharpening, which is why you do that, and it works good for that night, and then it doesn't work the next day.
Yeah. I know I was on a cooking team at Our Lady of Grace, and we stayed up all night making brisket, because we had brisket plate sale that we did through the nights, right? And one year, my buddy of mine brought his knives, right? And he has them. It looked like a whole setup. I mean, it was like in a nice little, I don't know, the
Knife roll?
Yeah. It was a roll.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, those are incredible. And it was incredible to see the cutting skill that he had. Of course, he owns a restaurant.
Well, there you go.
I'm sure. But my point is, you were probably sharpening those knives for him, Chef Dominique.
Yeah.
Without me knowing it, he said, I got a guy that comes by. It has to be you, because I've never known any other knife sharpening services.
Yeah, no.
So when we were talking about that service you offer commercially to restaurants, I thought back to that. This was like 10, 15 years ago.
Okay, well, that was around that time, yeah.
Maybe 10, maybe 10 years
around
ago.
that time.
But, with the holidays coming around, it's we have about 3 minutes right here. So I want to give out the website, starchefstore.com, starchefstore.com. They're located off 1 0003 Northwest Military Highway. They're in Suite 2113. It's the easiest way to remember where they're at, next to El Mirasol restaurant. You can't miss them. That big HEB is in there, that Elan HEB, but they're in there. There's plenty of parking. You want to call this number to schedule your holiday private
Shopping party.
with free gift wrapping. Domenica and Chef Dominique are going to be your hosts, but you got to call that number 844-544-7827. I'm going to say it one more time real slow because somebody might be trying to write it down. 844-544-7827. Or they could email you too, right? starchefstore@outlook.com.
Yes.
starchefstore@outlook.com. And I'll tell you what, I think you're going to be getting some calls. I hope you get some calls because this is a time of year where people need those sharp knives. And especially, I can't wait for Thanksgiving because cutting that turkey,
Yes.
it's embarrassing if you're, at the table
And you're chewing the turkey.
and you're shredding that poor turkey
Yes.
with a dull knife,
Yes.
or
Yes.
you're using an electric knife that's from the 70s, and it's just not doing the job. And everybody gets these real cruddy looking pieces of turkey, So up your knife game. You do want to call Domenica or Chef Dominique, and you could schedule your private party at Star Chef Store, or go by there and buy some knives for your holiday, for your holiday gifts. They're going to wrap them free for you. You can, you're going to be, if somebody gave me a set of knives, what's the average cost of a set of knives? We'll end with that.
It
can vary.
It can vary.
All
Yes.
right. You want to call Dominique and Domenica and Chef Dominique. Thank you for coming on the show.
No,
Thank you for having us.
Star Chef Store, everybody. Go see them in the Elan Center. And that's the end of our show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. God bless you, and have a great week.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Steve Gleason, your live host with The Quest Show.